Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94, back with another reaction video. Today, we finna react to my boy Black Media Man Cave. We finna react to some CB4. Where you at? CB4. Where you at? For real though, hey man, I don't know if we consider this a hood. I consider it a hood classic. It has this. A lot of people don't consider this a hood classic. I consider it a hood classic though. I'm not speaking for the culture. I'm just speaking for myself. I'm considering it a hood classic in my personal point of view. I don't know if everybody else is, but I fucks with this though. This is part of my childhood. I grew up with this movie as well. So yeah, man, without further ado, man, let's get right into it. CB4, where you at?
Too complex, much too complex, too complex, much too complex.
Welcome back to the Black Track, where I do commentary and review on movies with an all-black cast, or at least a black lead. I feel confident in saying that today's movie is a classic, and a favorite amongst hip-hop music fans. But did you know that it was released at the same exact time as another less well-known film that was exactly like it? The movie I'm talking about is Fear of a Black Hat, a 1993 hip-hop mockumentary film directed by...
Yeah, I do remember this. This is supposed to be like... apparently there was some controversy. Apparently they were saying like, oh, these niggas copied these niggas because they came out around the same time, even though this movie came out first. This movie did come out first. And then I want to say like a couple of weeks later, CB4 came out. Everybody was like, why they copy this movie? The people that went to see this movie, the people that actually saw this movie was like, why they copy this movie? But CB4 seemed more funnier. And I guess it had more promotion behind it. So it got like the more praise. So a lot of people don't know about this movie. Yeah, Fear the Black Hat. Yeah, it's a pretty good movie. I think that should be another low budget film we should put on the docket. But anyways, though, without further ado, let's get right back into it.
And starring Rusty Cundiff, who, if you remember, directed Tales from the Hood. The film premiered at the Sundance Movie Festival in 1993, 2 months before CB4.
Oh, 2 months, my bad.
But Fear of a Black Hat didn't get a theatrical release until 1994. Fear of a Black Hat is about a trio of rappers who struggle to find their identity in the music business until they stumble on an idea that works when they become NWH, an in-your-face parody of NWA. But today's Black Track is about CB4. And what is CB4 about? Well, I'm glad you asked. CB4 is about 3 guys who struggle to find an identity until they stumble on an idea that works and become CB4, short for Cell Block 4, which is a not-so-subtle parody of NWA. And yes, I did just read that twice in 2 different ways, because they are both, at their core, the same exact movie, but there are some subtle differences between the two. For starters, Fear of a Black Hat has more of a documentary style, just like the movie This Is Spinal Tap, which was a rock documentary that revolutionized the genre. CB4, on the other hand, incorporates some documentary elements, but mostly keeps it a straight-up cinematic comedy. Also, Fear of a Black Hat is directed by a black man, whereas CB4 is directed by a white woman named Tamara Davis.
That explains a lot.
Tamara Davis not only directed music videos for MC Lyte and Tone Loc, but she's also married to Mike D of the Beastie Boys, so she had a little bit of credibility.
Nah, nigga. It explains everything. Nah, nigga. I'm sorry, brother, but nah, nigga. Nuh-uh.
Oh, Lord have mercy, another coon. Damn coons. I gotta do a coon analysis and a coon screening.
It only takes a little bit of white brainwash to activate the cool chip in the average Negro.
Black queens forever, snow bunnies never. I said black queens forever, snow bunnies never. I said black queens forever, snow bunnies never.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
I'm just saying though. Where my shit at?
Don't no cracker talking here. You ain't my friend.
Hey, my brother, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Brother Shabazz.
What's up, boss?
You see, the man arrested me for this petty crime to get the brother man off the street. Then they put me in here with psychos like that to mess with my mind. Now, is it me or is it a conspiracy, my brother?
I'm just saying.
CB4 was written by Nelson George with input from its main star, comedian Chris Rock. It attempts to parody and present a satirical view of the rap trends of the early 90s, specifically gangster rap, which was filled with drugs, sex, violence, misogyny, you name it. But where you might think the people in the movie talking about these things are speaking from experience, CB4 tells you that might not always be the case. But perhaps what CB4 is most famous for is somehow accurately predicting the behavior of a lot of rappers from the 2010s and beyond. The movie has a ton of well-known names in it too, including Alan Payne, the late Charlie Murphy, Chris Elliott, the late Phil Hartman, Teresa Randall making back-to-back appearances on the Black Track, and also making a back-to-back appearance is Candy Alexander, who quite possibly stole a show in this movie.
It's unfortunate that CB4 would release at the same time as another film that had the same idea as them. I mean, what are the odds? But does that mean that it wasn't room for CB4 to succeed? Let's Black Track and find out.
I love that right out of the gate, CB4 wears his love for hip-hop on its sleeve. This panning shot really has no ties to the rest of the movie. It only serves to show how much the movie respects hip-hop as much as it's about to clown it. I think it's supposed to be the studio that CB4 is signed to, but it might be a museum for all I know.
While I'm on the topic, why is there no large-scale hip-hop museum to host stuff like this? Especially in New York. I will gladly make the pilgrimage up north and pay out the ass for something like that.
CB4 teases you early on by making you think it actually is a mockumentary, because there's narration by Chris Elliott, who plays an overly eager filmmaker simply named A. White, who's a super fan of CB4. And we also get introduced to the crew, who consist of MC Gusto, played by Chris Rock, Stabmaster Arson, played by Deezer D, who I just learned passed away in 2021.
Oh, damn.
Doing double duty because he also starred in Fear of a Black Hat. And lastly, Dead Mike, played by Alan Payne. I might be in the minority here, but I actually wish the entire movie was in documentary style like this. I like the little interviews from the various real-life stars playing themselves, like Shaq and Halle Berry. I especially like the interviews from people like Eazy-E and Ice Cube, who were in on the joke and knew the movie was about to be an exaggerated depiction of them. Unfortunately, CB4 drops this style almost immediately, and we learned that the documentary intro was actually a rough draft that the fellas don't even like.
Hey, why do we hire this other man instead of the brother man?
Because the other man is much cheaper than the brother man.
The only person who's willing to let A. White in on the life of the group is MC Gusto, but Mr. White should have taken the bus and just met up with Gusto later, because they're immediately shot at by Charlie Murphy, not even 2 blocks from the building. MC Gusto gets on the freeway, knowing Charlie Murphy won't follow him there, and it's here we learn that CB4 has a weird as hell narrative structure.
You see, this part is actually the middle, and MC Gusto is going to take us back to the beginning, which is then going to catch up to this part and then take us 30 more minutes to the end. It confused the hell out of me when I was younger.
Who knows why they decided to do it that way? But feeling he owes the white man an explanation, he takes us back to the beginning and gives him arguably a better story than he was expecting. 4 years ago, in the suburbs, MC Gusto was just plain old Albert Brown. He had a normal haircut, a nice house with a loving family, and a decent little girlfriend, played by Rachel True, most known for movies like The Craft and Half Baked, which was also directed by Tamara Davis. I mean, look at this house. I can name at least 3 things in this picture I could only dream of having back in my hood. This doesn't look like the house of a gangster to me. Everybody in Albert's house hates hip-hop, except for him, but they all love this dude Wacky D, played by Stoney Jackson, who's a knock not just on MC Hammer, but also groups like CNC Music Factory.
Cause I'm the wackiest, there's no question I can dance. Dance in my pants and in your did I mention before that I can dance? I'm Wacky D. Wacky D.
Hey, at least the movie low-key kinda gave Martha Wash her credit for singing the hook on CNC Music Factory's Gonna Make You Sweat. since this movie uses a plus-size woman also to sing Wacky D's hook instead of whoever the hell this is. Stabmaster, whose real name is Otis, arguably has it way worse because he has 5 sisters, meaning his mom's got 6 kids, and there's not a man in sight. Well, besides Otis, so he's forced to basically be their dad and a sonsman to his mother. No wonder the dude is addicted to porn. How else is he going to disconnect from all the BS? I take that back. The more of Albert's friends we get introduced to, the worse it gets. The last friend is Dead Mike, whose real name is Euripides, and that is the worst name you want to have if you plan on becoming a gangster rapper. The target is just too big. You would have to keep that a secret. That's like when people learned that Tupac's real name was Lassane.
Oh, you ain't know that? Damn, I thought you knew. I wouldn't have sprung it on you like that.
Euripides works at an all-you-can-eat type of phone line service that specializes in everything from pee to getting dissed.
Kiss my ass, motherfucker. That's right, kiss my fucking ass. Well, thank you.
This ain't the best assignment for Euripides, though.
Yeah, I'm licking your balls. Best balls I ever had. You got
Hey,
King
yo.
Kong balls. Balls are so large. Just big balls. I don't care. You just got big balls.
Hey, don't judge. The benefits in this place might be amazing. They might have good
Freaky ass
furniture.
nigga, he a 69 Dodge. Hey, run for your life. Hey, run for your life.
Wayne's World. But of course, instead of Bohemian Rhapsody, the crew jams out to Run DMC's King of Rock. I don't know why, but I always thought there should have been another song here. But at the same time, I've never been able to come up with a replacement. So oh well. They go to Gusto's, which is a nightclub that does open mic nights. And I know what you're wondering. How does Albert have a club named after him already if he's not famous yet? Well, that's because the club is owned by the real Gusto, who's played by Charlie Murphy. You see, the crew has been coming here for years, trying different gimmicks that don't work. Hey, if you ask me, they were just in the wrong universe. They should have been in that same timeline as those blind rappers from House Party 3. Anyway, they asked the real Gusto to be the opening act for Wacky D, but tonight was the wrong night to ask for a favor.
Look, when I say go, you go.
Hey, yo, what's going on, Al? What's up, man?
What, your posse supposed to be dating there?
But hey, maybe Gusto was just having a bad day. There's no way you can make it worse the next day, right?
Gusto, how's it going?
Albert just happened to show up for forgiveness when Gusto was about to be raided for drugs. And because 40 Dog, Gusto's right-hand man, saw him talking to the undercover cop, he's blamed for setting Gusto up for the fall. I know Silence of the Lambs was super influential around this time, but what's with the mouth guard on Gusto? He doesn't strike me as a biter. Nah, Albert is the biter, because once he sees how beloved Gusto is by the people, he gets the idea to steal his entire identity and kickstart the crew's rap career. You know, it just occurred to me that this scene is a throwback to New Jack City, and it's not the only one either.
Stealing an incarcerated rapper's entire identity and then using it to enhance your rap career. Now, where have I heard that before?
Euripides isn't really on board with it at first, but then he gets a wake-up call about where his career is headed if he doesn't fall in line.
Crazy shit.
Yo, listen.
No,
excuse me,
sir.
but,
Not me.
you work in radio?
No, nigga.
Wait a minute, wait. What about at an answering service?
No, nigga, turn around and eat your big ass biscuit.
Hey, it's just that your speaking voice, you know, it's so familiar.
Executive named Trustus Jones, and their whole transformation leading up to that is straight out of the Studio Gangster playbook. They don't have enough time to actually grow Jerry curls, so they just have weave put in instead. And they ain't never been to prison, so they bribe a bunch of dudes already there to toss their prison blues over the fence. Technically, their first single, Straight Out of Low Cash, ain't even really them. Yeah, it's supposed to be them rapping the song in the movie, but in reality, the song was written by Chris Rock, but performed by rappers Daddy-O and High C. So the voices you hear during the song is actually them, not the actors. Honestly, the song being ghost performed is very appropriate for the type of movie that this is.
Also, interesting side note, the name Low Cash sounds like the perfect name for a poor underclass neighborhood, but the truth is that the town was actually named after one of the writers of the film, Robert Low Cash. so it was actually a happy accidental double entendre.
Of course, Straight Out of Locash is meant to be a parody of Straight Out of Compton, but I think the black and white gives it a better visual style than the original. Maybe my favorite part of their transformation is MC Gusto's new walk he invents. You gotta give old Albert credit. Dude is like the Undertaker. No matter the situation, dude does not break character at all once he becomes MC Gusto. You know what every new rap group needs? Groupies. And believe me, the movie has plenty of them. Hell, it's the only reason that Otis even joined the group. But the only one you should be concerned about is Sissy, played by Candy Alexander. She specializes in blackmail and uses Polaroid pictures of stars in compromising positions to get whatever she wants. Actually, I really don't know what she is. She's not just a groupie, but she's clearly more experienced than all the other video vixens in the movie.
She a hoe.
This video exposure's too come and go. Now what
The
you
fuck?
need to do is get yourself a Polaroid Instamatic. You see this watch? This is what the right picture of the right man doing the wrong thing can get you.
But she's also kind of Trustus Jones' secretary or something, I think. Honestly, I don't know what she is, and I don't even care, because every time I watch this movie, I'm reminded of the fact that 30 years ago, this was considered top-notch booty.
Did anybody else grab their heart like this when I said 30 years? I know, right?
Like I said in the intro to this video, Candy Alexander steals the show to me. All her dialogue is so hilarious and to the point, like when Gusto's girlfriend shows up to a video shoot.
I'm looking for Albert. Albert Brown?
Who?
Oh, I mean MC Gusto.
Oh, yeah, he's kind of cute. Not enough man meat on him for me. You know I hurt small guys like that. Small men drown in my shit.
But of course, in a film like this, you have to have some kind of balance, and that balance comes from a reporter from the Source magazine named Eve, played by Teresa Randall. She's not to be played with, and when Albert has the audacity to treat her like the rest of the girls, well, he and Dead Mike should have switched names, because she put his ass in the dirt.
You better watch it, ho.
Ho? This is not Christmas, you slender slice of sexist slime, and I am not a girly, a biddy hoe, a skeezer, a prop, a hoochie, or a stunt, and most certainly not a hoe. Comprende? Now, I can do a nice puffy feature that reports exactly what you tell me, or I can delve so deeply into your background with an eye for every inconsistency. Your mother would disavow any knowledge of your birth. Now, which would you prefer, Albert?
She really loves her some Dead Mike though. Tommy Davidson makes a not long enough cameo as DJ Weird Warren, but he plays it too straight in my opinion. There's definitely no Varnell Hill vibes here. Now don't get me wrong, the story up to this point with Albert stealing Gusto's gimmick and Gusto going to jail is interesting, but with Gusto mostly being removed from the story, CB4 makes up for it by putting the group against a politician named Virgil Robinson, played by Phil Hartman, who wants to use censoring them for political gain. I'm way more of a fan of this part of the movie, mostly because Phil Hartman plays it so deadpan and serious. It's still comical, but in a weird way, because he says a lot of off-the-wall stuff, but it's not really in-your-face funny, and you may miss it the first time. Like how during the speech, he blows by the fact that his wife died mysteriously. The way he says it makes you think he had something to do with it, and it's unlikely she was Hispanic, so why does his son look like that?
It's that subtle background comedy that doesn't need a punchline. The punchline is in the details.
Unfortunately, CB4 also drops this part of the story almost immediately, and I think it suffers for it. The group and Virgil finally collide right before a concert when Virgil tells them if they perform their most popular song, they'll go to jail immediately.
Now in real life, NWA was told that they couldn't perform F the Police or they would go to jail. What could possibly be just as bad as that, or even worse for CB4?
Sweat from my balls! Sweat from my balls! Sweat from my balls!
Yeah, that'll do it.
I would have liked to see CB4 take this battle all the way to court and find a way to work this into the story, but after this event, we never even see Virgil again. It would have been funny to see the group try to stay in character in front of the Supreme Court, but all we get is a few silly jail scenes and then it's back to the Gusto storyline. I'm not too upset about it because the greatness of CB4 is in the comedy and not the story, and in that aspect, it excels. Another one of my favorite parts is when Trustus tells Sissy to stick close to Albert to help with his image and to keep his actual girlfriend away. This results in a crazy sex scene between not only Sissy and MC Gusto, but also her and Dead Mike. Yo, I thought this Negro was into the reporter. Hey, I guess a man got needs. And have you seen Sissy? Everything about this is ridiculous, and there's no way they did this in one take without busting out laughing. My money is on this taking at minimum 20 takes. Like, instead of carrying Sissy to the bed like Mike, Gusto gets carried to the bed. Mike gets the bra off instantly. Gusto needs all kinds of tools. Mike has Sissy hanging off the balcony, but MC Gusto... all that stuff is pretty funny, but when I first saw this movie, all I was focused on was Candy Alexander. I'm certain she turned a lot of boys to men after this movie. So just in case you forgot earlier, I told you CB4 actually starts in the middle. At this point, the movie catches up to the beginning and then continues on from here. Don't think too hard on it. Just pretend like you're back at the beginning of the movie. CB4 also does have a little bit of a message, but it's buried beneath all of the comedy and is regulated to just one small scene with Albert's father.
You ain't tough. There are some real kids out there who are gonna kick your narrow ass. You ain't from the street, I'm from the street. And only somebody who wasn't would think it was something to glorify.
Hey, I knew a few dudes like that growing up. I never understood why they wanted to be from the hood so bad. It's not as fun as it looks. Nah, having two parents looks like fun. Now, despite Gusto attempting to kill Albert just hours earlier and threatening to dismember the entire group, the movie seems to forget this, or maybe Gusto had a change of heart after spying on Albert's family. Regardless, he tells Albert that he wants him to break up the group instead, and to make sure he goes through with it, Gusto brings him along to do hood rat things with his friends, like rob record stores. Gusto wants the media to think that this is the real CB4, but there's no way that the police mistake any of these dudes as Otis. Let's just say he's a member of the Chub Scouts, and none of these dudes got their badges. Albert has no choice but to break up the group, and the members go in three comically different directions. Stabmaster stays true to who he is, and creates a one-man DJ show, complete with dancing women and everything. Albert relapses back into his New Jack City days, same facial expressions and all, and throughout the movie, Dead Mike has been courted by a back-to-Africa Hotep hustler, and since he's now free of the burden of CB4, he goes all in on his militant persona.
Oh, black y'all, and I'm black y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black y'all, and I'm black y'all, and I'm black y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black y'all. I'm biggity black, blackity blackity black, blackity blackity yo, because I'm black and I'm black. I'm big blackity black.
Converted to Islam in the early 90s.
That's why in his song Today Was a Good Day, his mama cooked the breakfast with no hog, and he got his grub on, but didn't pig out. Man, I miss that kind of hip hop.
Despite how menacing and scary Gusto is supposed to be, it's kind of funny that he doesn't actually kill anybody. He threatens people, sure, and in fairness, it's effective. Just ask Trustus Jones. Well, you could have asked him if the mere sight of Gusto didn't cause him to choke to death. I've watched this movie hundreds of times, and I've never noticed Candy Alexander's reaction until now. What was that? At this point, everybody comes to the conclusion that if they don't get rid of Gusto, he's gonna eventually threaten everybody to death. Honestly, the dude doesn't appear to even care anymore since the group has broken up. They decide to set Gusto up in a hotel with Sissy, and I guess what's supposed to be a sting operation? Only Sissy isn't a hooker. By this point, CB4 has completely lost the plot and wants you to just go with it. It's kind of crazy when you think about it, because all Gusto wanted from the beginning was a piece of Sissy. That's what got this whole thing started. If she wouldn't have insulted him in the beginning of the movie, then he never would have been in a bad mood when Albert asked him to perform. And if he never would have put them out, then Albert would have never came back to beg right when Gusto was being arrested. This is all because of Sissy. So I guess she felt that she had to redeem herself during this little scheme. And I don't think I've ever seen a man more excited to get some coochie. Can you blame him though?
You won't be disappointed.
Yeah!
Damn, bitch.
Yeah!
Sure hope you ready for this, baby.
Like I said, boys to men.
Nice little shout out to his brother right there too. Now, of course, we all know that Sissy wasn't going to give it up to Gusto, but I don't think any of us would have imagined that the plan was to have Albert dress in drag. And the only thing he does is photograph Gusto and punches him in the face. It's not even a compromising photo because Albert isn't even in it. What in the Sam hell was the plan here? The cops bust in immediately to take Gusto back to jail, but they could have just done that when Sissy was in the room. And I'm not even going to go into the scene where Otis and Albert tease a kiss. In the end, they decide to get back together, but as regular positive rappers. I'm sure to the absolute disdain of their most dedicated fans. You can't go back to being Public Enemy after rapping about sleeping with people's moms. But wait a minute. Okay, so I gotta go back to this sting operation. So I get them wanting to get Gusto in a specific spot for the cops. But this Albert and lingerie thing, once and for all, somebody is gonna have to explain this part of the plan to me while I get to the grade. Despite falling apart towards the end, it's easy to ignore CB4's faults because of the fantastic comedy. Nearly every line is laugh out loud funny, and it finds a way to honor the hip hop trends at the time while also pointing out the silliness of some of it. The fact that the rappers themselves were in on the joke just adds to the legitimacy and legacy of the movie. Even though I would have preferred a more documentary style movie, ironically, CB4 ended up becoming kind of a prophetic documentary in its own right by predicting how fake the rap game would eventually become in the following years, with almost scary accuracy. Despite being over 30 years old, there's elements of CB4 that you can point to in today's music industry, which, depending on your age or perspective, is probably a sad state of affairs. Regardless, director Tamara Davis and the cast excelled in putting together this love letter to gangster rap and hip-hop culture, and it would be hard to find somebody who doesn't consider CB4 to be one of the funniest movies ever. My grade for CB4 is a B+.
I agree with this
one. A tighter story structure and a better ending would have made this film perfect, but it's still a classic in my eyes.
And that's it for this episode of The Black Track. As usual, let me know what you thought about the movie CB4 in the comments below. Did you think it should have more of a documentary style, or did you think it was fine the way it was? Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and tell your friends about my channel. And until next time, I'll holla at you.
Hey man, look. I agree with that grade. B+, most definitely, man. This is, like I said, some people don't consider this a hood classic. A lot of people downplay this movie, understandably so. I understand it's not for everybody. Plus, a lot of people say that the Black Hat movie, Fear the Black Hat, is a lot better, which I completely understand. But this is a motherfucking classic to me, man. The sex scenes is the most hilarious shit I've ever seen in a fucking movie, bro. That shit is fucking hilarious, man. But anyways, though, let's just go about doing for this one, man. CB4 is definitely a classic, man. Sweat from my balls. You can feel the sweat from my balls. That's my shit right there. But anyways, let's just go about doing for this one, man. I'll see y'all in the next video. CB4, where you at? CB4, where you at?